Hello, Starseed. So if you are here, you were probably drawn to the title. You probably are just looking for confirmation that you are a Lyran Starseed. A lot of you will have identified possibly as other Starseeds because Lyrans are ancient. We are said to be the ancestors of the Pleiadians. We've had many, many lifetimes on many different planets. We've Most of us have had like hundreds of lifetimes here on Earth as humans. We helped to seed the Earth. We were in Atlantis. We were in ancient Egypt. So a lot of you may identify as a Lyran, but you're like, but I also resonate with being a Pleiadian or an Arcturian or, a different starseed as well. Know that your origin would lead you to being a Lyran because you are ancient. Your soul is so old and you have been doing this for many, many, many lifetimes. So I just want to start off with some Lyran facts, and then we'll go into some traits that you may resonate with. I feel like it's very important to state that some of these things that I say may resonate with you and others may not. I certainly don't resonate with every single thing that I'm going to say on these lists, but I think it's important because there's variation for all of us. And it's most important to realize that you are the guru. Like, it is your soul that you need to resonate with when you think of being a Lyran Starseed. Does that feel right to you? Like, does that, are you like, I know that I'm a Lyran. I maybe have watched videos on Lyran Starseeds and not everything that they say has resonated with me. You could still be a Lyran Starseed. That can still be true. It's important for you to listen to your own mind, listen to your own intuition, feel what feels right to you, right? So just remember that as we go through this list. So the Lyran race is ancient, as I said. So you may identify as other starseeds, and that is perfectly fine. And maybe you spent more time in other places, and maybe that feels stronger to you, but you are feeling more drawn lately to the Lyran Starseed system. And I feel like that is for a reason. I feel like it's been coming up very strongly for me lately that the Lyrans here on Earth, because there's not from just a single person perspective here on Earth, we could be like, well, there is a lot of us, but in comparison to everyone else who is here on Earth, we are a very small population. We're a very small group, and that can be, I don't know if you guys can hear the rooster crowing outside. I feel like that's like a confirmation, like we need to connect. There's a small group of us here in comparison to the rest of everyone else who's here on Earth right now, and it's very important that we communicate with each other, that we it's been emotional for me recently connecting with the Lyran energy, and it's been so loud, like it's got this like there's like this roar that's been coming through. So this may be something recently that you're finding out for yourself as well. So the Lyran Starseeds, they originated from the constellation of Lyra. The biggest, brightest planet in Lyra is the planet Vega, which is where most of us have come from, originated from, or, incarnated first, basically, our soul, because we all come from source, right? So there's two main types. I want to say two main types of Lyrans. So you have the feline, like the lion, and then like cat people, and then we have the avian race, which is the bird people. And we see this represented in ancient Egypt, because we helped seed the earth. We've been helping the earth for a very long time. And you can see that in Sekhmet, Bast, and Thoth. Sorry, almost slipped my mind for a second. So you can see that in ancient Egypt, where we had, I like to say that Lyrans have had their fingers in many different pies, and we've had our place in many different times and space and all of that, and you can really see it there. So maybe you've had a strong draw when it comes to like ancient Egypt. Also, you may have had a strong interest in Atlantis, because we helped them as well. So that's just a few things. So I don't like to get too in depth when it comes to Lyra and basically the fall, or the wars, however you want to call it, because the reptilians I feel like Lyrans understand there is no black and white. There is no harsh good and bad. Like, no whole, like, you can't say all Lyrans are good, although many of them are. You can't say all reptilians are bad. So we were taken over by our neighbors on Lyra, and you could have that strong sense of longing for home, or like that black sheep kind of energy, right? Like somehow like something is off, or yeah, like that longing for home feeling. But there's just this compassion that comes through as well. I personally, and I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I do have a dragon on my spiritual team, and they are very protective. They're very loving, and it's almost like that mama bear kind of energy, like and the way that it comes through for me is like, you play with fire, don't be surprised if you get burned a little bit. And that's that very protective energy that they have of me, for me. And it's almost like we can see that as living our human life as well, right? Like, not everything is in black and white. Not everything is good and bad. There are shades of gray. And I can remember, like some past life things from Lyra, and not all just like our government here on Earth, or certain people here on Earth who like to be in power, like to be in control. And you might look at different countries that way, and you might see that coming from a certain country, where they want to take over, or different things. But it's like, not everybody in that country has the authority, or has a strong voice, and is being represented. So it's very important to realize that is coming through very strongly. So we're going to look at some traits and characteristics of Lyrans, and like I said, just take what resonates, let the rest go in one ear and right out the other, just whatever works for you. So one thing is you could look like, or be drawn to cats or birds. So that could mean you could have cat eyes, you could have, like a cat nose, you could have like a bird nose, like you may have been told you have like a and this sounds so negative, I hate to say that, but to me it's beautiful because it's a representative of where we come from. But you could have like a beak nose or something like that. You could have really great vision. Like you could be able to see, like you've been said, like you can see a mile away or something like that. Or you may have visions, like not just your physical sight, like your senses, but your psychic senses, like you may have psychic visions or things like that. So you may have been called an old soul before, or you may resonate with that. You may feel like a very old soul, and that is true, because if you are a Lyran, you are old. Like you are ancient. So that's very true, and there's a lot of wisdom that comes with that, right? Like you may have knowledge in your noggin that you have no idea where that came from, or you have this empathy, this understanding for people that not everybody is born with. You're like, you can see all the different sides to a situation, and people. You can still see the good in people, even when, you know, they're doing things that may not be technically good. Like you just, there's something about you, and a lot of people will recognize that. So a lot of you may be attracted to space or the stars. You may have a telescope. You might like to look at them that way. Some of you will just like to sit out in your yard and look up at the stars. And there may be one bright star in particular that draws you in. And what's really interesting is like planetary alignments are always moving, right? Lyra, or Vega, I should say. Vega used to be the North Star. It's not at this moment, but it will be the North Star again in so many hundred years from now. So I find that kind of fascinating, because the North Star is, you know, your guiding light. Like I said, you may feel a longing for home or homesickness. There may even feel like this disconnect from your biological family here on Earth at this time. You may just feel like you're a little bit different. You may feel like, you know, even with your parents, maybe you were like, I see the world differently. I have more... There's just this wisdom that you carry. It's like almost, even when you were a child, you had this maturity probably that was just like, not that you didn't like other children, but you may have been drawn to adults, or more, you know, like you were looking for more maturity in your life. Like there was a certain silliness that, not just silliness, because Lyrans enjoy silliness and having fun and pleasure, but like children can be ignorant and cruel, and you may have been someone who looked at another child and was like, they need to learn a lesson there. Like you there's just a maturity that you've always had, basically, even since you were little in this incarnation. You may have astral projected before, so whether on purpose or not, or you may have had dreams of flying, whether you were in control or not. Also, you may be someone who lucid dreams, whether you have practiced doing that or it's just something that comes naturally to you. You may have a lot of fire or air in your chart. I like to be easy with this one because that doesn't necessarily mean that you have that in your sun, moon, or rising. It doesn't have to technically be right up front in your chart. every single area of your chart is speaking to you, so every area is important. And that also goes with like the sign of Leo. When we think of Lyrans, we often think of Leo, the lion, and that could be a big signification in your birth chart. But like I said, it does not have to be your sun, moon, or rising. I would look at the house that that is in and see what that says to you, or if you have any planets or degrees in that house that is Leo for you, because we all have a house of Leo in our chart. But I can definitely see how the Lyran energy can come through in every single sign. So I feel like that's very important to note. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about myself, but just for an indicator for someone, like Leo for me is my south node, which is my most significant past life in terms of this life that I'm living right now. It's the past life that is affecting me the most. And then I have it in my 4th house, which is home and family. So for me, that's like, oh, that's obvious, right? But like I said, like you may want to look at that for yourself, but it's not technically like hugely important. So you may love the color blue or have a blue aura, as well as white or gold is something that's coming through. Also, I'm even seeing, they're showing me now like the rainbow. You may have an aura that is just like very colorful, very shiny, very bright. You have a very big energy field as it is. And people may feel that. Some people may be aware that they feel it, and others, they're not consciously aware of it, even though that energy does affect them. And it's very important for you to let yourself take up that energetic space and to shine your light, because that's what you came here to do. So Lyrans, they enjoy the earthly pleasures. Humans like to add shame to pleasure, right? Like, and Lyrans are not like that. So you may have been raised or conditioned, and this is like an unconditioning that will happen, or a deconditioning, or whatever that word is, something that you'll let go of as you age, and as you become more of who you are and less of what you've been told and taught, that pleasure is very important to you and you don't like to feel restricted. And this comes in the form of, like food, sex, sleep, traveling the world. You want to see things. Like, there's so many different forms of pleasure, right? Like smells. Some of you are going to love candles, or certain smells will take you to certain places. Like it really it does more to you than the average person. And this is not to say, like, when I talk about sex, that you can't be monogamous. Like, you obviously can be, but you you would not function well in like certain organized religions where they where sex is only used for procreating and things like that. No, that would not work for a Lyran. And there's no shame in that, right? People like to talk about Lyrans and say Lyrans have this abundance of energy, which we do when we have a purpose. If you think about the cat, you see a cat. Now cats can go, like, you see cats, and we talk about how they get the zoomies and they can just go bounce off the walls, but they also sleep most of the day. So there is this, even if you look at big cats and you look at the hunt of a big cat, they will rest most of the time. They will wait until something is almost assured and then they pounce on it. You may be somebody who you conserve your energy and then you pounce on something when the time is right. Like you trust your instincts and you're not out here just doing for the sake of doing. You are smarter than that, and you're not just go go go. You do things with a purpose and you have a focus is what I want to say. So that energy that you expend, it's not for nothing, right? You may make friends like super easily. Like people may be drawn to you, they like your energy, but you're also like a rather introverted kind of person. You like to spend time off on your own. You have your own hobbies, you have your own things that you like, and your time to yourself is important. But you enjoy your time that you spend with certain people, and people love to be around you, but you are more about quality over quantity, is something that is very important to you, and that is in regards to people as well. So like I said, you probably have a great sense of humor. So some of you that will come through as, you might be somewhat, like I said, you're ancient. You may have kind of like a smart aleck, not smart aleck, but like you may be somewhat sarcastic sometimes, or like I also feel like you can see the lighter side of life, like even if you're going through something that's hard, or like you feel like you did something and you wish you did it a different way, you can kind of laugh at yourself. It's almost like I can laugh at myself before you can even laugh at me. Like there's just this there's this lightness about you that's like, why so serious? Like everybody's so serious. Why are you so serious? Like it's just this lightness about you. So you also, Lyra is connected to the lyre or the harp. So you may have an affinity for music. You may play a musical instrument, but some of you are just really drawn to music. Like you love to listen to music. You might listen to it all day or as much as you can, or that's a very important part of your time that you spend with yourself. You may like going to concerts as well. That could be part of that pleasure. Like you enjoy being in the crowd and watching a show, and the energy that comes along with that. So whether you play a musical instrument or not, like you may have this huge bank of musical knowledge inside your brain. Like you might even hear songs from other generations and it's like, I recognize this. Like you might just be like somehow I know this song even though I've never heard this song before. Or you may even, it's like lyrics may be very important to you, to songs as well. So Lyrans are natural leaders. Like I said, you have a big energy, you have a big presence, you are ancient, you are wise, you helped to seed life for the Pleiadians, you helped seed life here on Earth. So you naturally are a leader. That leadership role can come through in many different ways though. For some of you, you're gonna have a leadership role at home with your family. You may be a parent, and you would be a very compassionate, caring, loving, protective parent. But also, it's like you're not one of those people that's like, do as I say and not as I do. You walk your talk. And, you may also be a leader in your job. You may be like a manager or someone like that where you have to delegate tasks to other people, or you're in a position of power somehow. You may be an entrepreneur. Many Lyrans feel drawn to have their own business, set their own hours, be their own boss in some way. And we don't really like to answer to other people a whole lot. So that is something that will get stronger as you get older. Or you may be a leader in your community. That could be something as well. Or people just strongly value your opinion. So some people are going to strongly value your opinion as a Lyran. They will understand that there's something that they don't see that you understand that you're sharing with them. And others may like to challenge that because their ego feels threatened. You may threaten certain people's ego, I want to say. And they can kind of like to push back against you. So you may find challenges there, which I feel like you handle very gracefully. And it's not a huge deal for you because you're very good at listening. Like you don't suffer fools, but you're very good at listening and explaining, well, this is why I feel how I feel, or this is my reasoning for this. What is yours? There's this, I don't even know the word. It's just like you're naturally a leader. So Lyrans are also healers. We were known as healers in the constellation of Lyra. So this may come through in a multitude of ways here on Earth. It might not just be like medical healing. It can be energetic. So a lot of you may be drawn to psychology, sociology. You may be drawn to Reiki or other forms of energetic healing. These could all be very interesting subjects for you. And I always like to say healed people heal people. So your healing journey will be a very important one for you here on this planet, since you are a starseed and you are here to shine your light. And your focus should be more on your healing first, because like I said, healed people heal people. And because your energy is so big and so bright, when you come in contact with other people, whether you are even speaking to that person or not, your energy will trigger something within them that will start that process for them. So crystals may also call to you to use them, and you may strongly feel their energy. You may not even know like the name of a crystal, but you're like, this is the kind of energy that's coming off of this crystal for me. This is the feeling that this crystal gives to me. So you may use them in your practices or in your meditation, or however you want to do that. You may just have them around your house because it makes you feel good. And I also want to say, like, because there's something about Moldavite, like many people, you know, like humans, there's this like terror of Moldavite, like, oh, my whole life is going to fall apart. And I know my first time I came in contact with Moldavite, I was like, this is pretty cool. This is a cool crystal. I mean, technically it's glass, but for most of us, it just feels good. It feels warm. It feels loving. It's a very high vibrational crystal, and it will resonate with the core of you. You may feel drawn to Moldavite. You may feel drawn to like aquamarine, kind of like, I'm seeing like green and blue crystals. So like the heart chakra, the throat chakra. You're someone who does speak from the heart, and you speak with compassion, you speak with love and empathy, and you're very heart driven, and there's an authenticity about you. Your truth comes from the heart. So like those energies may come through for you very strongly. There's also something about animals. So this is not just cats or birds. And it's funny to me because I have a cat, and I always think about the way she gets so excited when she sees birds in the window, or, you know, if I let her out on the deck and like there's birds at the bird feeder and she's just fascinated by them. But it's almost like you may be kind of like Snow White when it comes to the animal kingdom. And this is not just like, oh, domesticated animals love you, like dogs and cats and, you know, like parrots or, you know, like house birds. All different kind of animals will be drawn to you, or you will feel connected to them in some way. Like you may even find yourself like walking out in the woods and you see a deer, and that deer may even like let you walk up to it, get very close to it. There's this calm energy that you carry that animals can sense and feel, and it's like this beautiful communion with nature that we have, that's very nice. I would be surprised to hear of a Lyran not liking animals or never having an experience with animals. You may even be someone who has fallen prey to the cat distribution system, where you know, you just like found a cat with no home and took it home with you. Or it ended up with my cat, like she just ended up on my porch one day as a kitten, a little kitten, and she was crying and it was raining outside, and she just knew to come to me, and we have this beautiful bond. She's everything. And you may have like gotten your pet that way. Like maybe, you know, they chose you, right? Like some of you didn't choose your pets, they chose you. Could be something that comes through. So Lyrans are high dimensional beings. So you naturally vibrate at a very high frequency. So this means that you manifest quite easily. There is this magic that can happen for you. That can go in, you know, multiple ways. You will realize, most of you, that what you think about, you bring about. And that can be positive or negative. So it's very important to pay attention to where you put your focus, because whether good or bad, you are a natural manifester. You are naturally magical. Also, being someone who is, you are a very high dimensional being, and you vibrate at a very high frequency. There could have been something about your birth or your mother's pregnancy with you that was very interesting. Like there may have been complications. You were a very large energy to birth into this physical 3D reality, is what I want to say. So that could be something that you resonate with. So being an ancient soul, you've seen a lot, and you're naturally a pretty chill person. But like I said, like you do not suffer fools. You will not put up with just like people who are difficult just to be difficult, people who like to be challenging just because they don't have a rhyme or reason for it. If someone doesn't have a rhyme or a reason for doing what they're doing, and you can feel that, you know that they're just trying to be challenging, they're coming from their ego, you will not put up with that. So yeah, it takes a lot to get you angry. It takes a lot to get you riled up, but you will not suffer. You will not suffer fools. But you're most likely a very emotionally sensitive person. You are most likely an empath. You pick up on the energies of people. You pick up the energies of a room. You can walk in and just automatically like sense things. You also have like a strong sense of justice and fairness. So you may be somebody who roots for the underdog. And you believe in equality. You believe in, you know, like the karmic order of things. So you won't really put up with narcissists or people who are led by their ego. You also can't stand when somebody is ignorant and opinionated. You're like, look up the facts, like get some information. You are a sponge when it comes to knowledge and information, and you you know, like you want to know all the stuff. You know a lot of stuff, but you want to know all the stuff. And when there are people here who try to have a conversation with you, not even try to have a conversation with you, like people who don't listen, people who don't open up their ears, people who don't open their heart, those kind of people can really grind your gears. You're just like, I can't be around a person like this. There could be people that you're just like, I have to, because like I said, you're super chill. It's like you might be someone who you walk away. You're like, I'm not gonna argue with you because I see that has no point. You see sometimes that there's no point in dealing with certain people, and where someone else might try to drill something home with that person over and over and over again, you're just gonna walk away and let life teach that person that lesson that they need to learn. So you see the folly in stubbornness, and you are eager to learn from life and other people. You're very observant as well, like I talked about with psychology and sociology, and like you might not by definition be like a people watcher or like that, but you definitely whether it's energetically or through your eyeballs or whatever, like you are soaking up all the collaborative experiences around you. That's what you're here to do. 3636 when I just looked at the time. So you're very spiritually connected. You've most likely had supernatural experiences, like you're very interested in the metaphysical or the paranormal. Maybe when you were a child, you had very you had experiences with spirits, or like you may have seen your guides. You may have seen people who have crossed over, who are still in like the fourth dimension. You may have spoken with these souls. You may have even helped them in some way. And for some of you, that could be something that just kept going throughout your life, or there may have been like an area, I would say like preteen to a certain age, where that may have stopped for a while and then you started to pick it back up again. Could be something that has happened for you. So you may be someone who has been told that you are very graceful. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't be a klutz. Like you maybe still be somebody who drops things or knocks things over, like sometimes because you are, like being in a human body is very different. So like you could be somebody who like, you're walking around and you just like bump your hip into a table, or you stub your toe on a doorway or something because you're not fully aware of your physical like your physical body. But then people might see you as somebody who moves very gracefully. There is this like languid, like cat-like power in your muscles, in your body. You may have even been accused of being like a very sensual kind of person, whether you are a man or a woman. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Like I see many times Lyran energy being said that it is very masculine. To me, it comes through as a balance of masculine and feminine energies. You are someone who has very strong divine feminine and divine masculine within you, and there is no battle between the two of them. Sorry, my cat. Hi, honey. So there's this balance between the two of them, which really helps you in your life, because not only like I said, like with that analogy about the big cat and knowing when to pounce, like there is this energy of, like first off, we like I said, we helped to seed the earth, and we are ancient beings. Like we have birthed many creations, and that is that feminine energy, right? But we also, there's this feminine energy is very receptive. It's very abundant. It's like allowing. It's very allowing. And there's that about the Lyrans. But there's also this when I know it's the time to strike, like we're good with strategy. We're good with planning. We're very powerful leaders. And we know when to strike when the iron's hot. There's this fire that's just like, it's a very cardinal energy, even though Leo is not cardinal. Technically, Aries is the cardinal fire. But like I said, I can see Lyran energy in every single sign. But it's this like, that fire does not burn forever. Like you have to strike when the iron's hot. And that is definitely true for Lyrans. So, as the earliest keepers of ancient wisdom and knowledge, because we are so old, this might trigger some people when I keep calling us old, because I know some people are funny about their human age, but hopefully not. Because we are the earliest keepers of ancient knowledge, we've helped create the Akashic records, and we have access, fairly easy access to our past lives, be that through dream, meditation, trance, divination. You're very connected to magic. So some of you may identify as a sage, a mystic, a witch, what else is coming through? I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. A shaman. You could be a high priestess. You could be a high priest. But there's this magical, mystical wizard. I'm getting wizard as well. A lot of you will just realize that there's something very magical about you, or you maybe have been told there's something very magical about you. Whether you own that or not. So a lot of you, like, you'll be into the metaphysical. You'll be into those kind of things. They won't be so scary for you because maybe early in your life there may be teachings that try to, squash that, but you will rise above it. That's another thing about Lyrans. I don't want this video to be too long, but Lyrans don't recognize failure, because as long as you get back up, that is the key. Lyrans, it's like, I might try something one way and maybe that doesn't work, but that doesn't mean that I give up. I get up and I try again, and I see what works. You are good at recognizing patterns, and you're very adaptable. There could be something about the number 5 for you. So that could come through in many different ways. 5 is the energy of change, of manifestation, of chaos. And that could be like your life path number. You could be born on the 5th. There could be like you could see the number 5 a lot, or see 555 or things like that. Could be something that's very strong for you. I feel like you are someone who sees numbers, repetitive numbers. You are someone who, you may look that up a lot. Like you may see angel numbers, or there could be like a number that you're like, oh, I always see that number. And it's very important that you look that up. You look up the meanings of those things. So as an ancient soul, your main spirit guide may be very high ranking. And I feel like it's important to state this. No soul is better than another, right? Like none of us are better than any other. And just because we are a starseed, that doesn't make us any better than someone who has only incarnated on Earth, or like a young soul who maybe is here for their first time. Because we are, like I said, that divine feminine, that divine masculine, like we are the parent, we are the grandparent, like we are here to guide with love, to nurture, and to help things grow and expand. Like our soul's purpose is for abundance to be realized and actualized, and abundance comes in many different forms. It's basically like we're here to get rid of shame and to help people to bask in the abundance of the pleasures that they find here, and to have, to experience that, and to not feel limited, to not feel shamed for that. So it's important that we lead by example. So that may be something that comes through for you, like through your childhood. You may have been born into a family where there may have been shames around certain pleasures. There may have been a limited resources, whatever that means for you. Or just like, there may have been someone around you who wanted to squash your light, who wanted to, I'm seeing like a candle, which it's funny that it's fire, but I'm seeing somebody wanting to snuff out a candle. And it's like that birthday candle that when you blow it out, it just lights back up again. Like you get back up. Somebody tries to squash you and you get back up. That is the energy of the Lyran. It's like, I keep going. I keep getting back up, and I keep pushing. So Starseed activation symbols. So, I was talking about the ancient, since you are an ancient soul, your main spirit guide is most likely very high ranking. You may have an angel that works very closely with you. You may have an angel that is your main spirit guide. You may have an ascended master that works very closely with you or is your main spirit guide. You can have, you may work with very high ranking beings in the spiritual realms, and that does not make us any better than anyone else. And that's important to remember, because I feel like this is like a human thing, and I feel like this may be for someone who wants to be a Lyran, but maybe they're not. It's like a Lyran will naturally not, there's not a huge ego. There's not this energy of I'm better than you, or I want to overpower other people. I want to be in power. You naturally have power. And when you are around other people, you help them to rise up in their power. And there is this energy of like wanting us all to be equal, because naturally we are. And yeah, that just wanted to come through. All right. Starseed activation symbols. So that could be the lyre, the harp, eagles, vultures, lions, or other big cats is coming through. The Lyra in, what is it? Arabic. Lyra in Arabic actually means falling eagle, or falling vulture. So it's falling eagle, yeah, but there is something about the vulture as well. So you may be drawn to, there could be something about the eagles, about eagles or vultures. And vultures are like death magic, right? So you may want to look up vultures if that stands out to you. That's what I have for you right now, you guys. I'm planning on starting to do readings for the Lyrans who are incarnated here on Earth right now. I'm feeling very drawn to do that. It feels very, very powerful to me and like something that we need. So I'm sending you guys lots of love. I am wishing you all the best. Until next time, bye.